things I'd achieved by the time I turned 19, compared to Katie Reid, who was casually starting for Arsenal like it was no big deal.
Elsewhere, we had Everton and London City Lionesses with their first win of the season. It literally just said bottom and pointless, and I just thought, that's so sad for West Ham, or as you like to call them, Aston Villa. Top of the table at the moment is currently Chelsea.
Straight away, it didn't take them long.
Hello.
We're going to talk about the games, but I think that it wouldn't be right to continue on talking about what happened in the previous weekend without touching on what happened on Saturday with Matt Beard.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a little bit more of a sort of somber 5 minutes on, just talking about him, talking about his legacy, and talking about some of the things that sort of have come up from it. And then we'll move on to looking at the stuff that's happened during the games last weekend, and we'll sort of lighten it up from there. So, Ali, you've sort of prepared a little piece.
Yeah, we thought it was impossible to start a week talking about football and the joy of it and, you know, the progression of the women's game without us touching on the person who unfortunately has been lost from this world, but also was such a massive part in creating it. So I have written things down because, and if this feels a bit red, it's actually very emotional because he's left such a legacy and we've been reading about it the past couple of days. And to be honest, I wanted to do more justice than my memory can do when it's emotional. So what I found amazing was that this week, I've learned so much about Matt Beard that I did not know. I've learned so much about Matt Beard because everyone's sharing these amazing stories about what he's done, what he gave to the game, what he brought. And I just think I knew him as Liverpool manager for the past few years. I knew he'd done a stint at Liverpool before. I didn't really know much more about him. But what I've learned the past week is that he seems to have this amazing ability to champion not only the team that he is managing, but also the women's game in general. So this is a man who has been championing women's football since the get-go. Not like since
hard, right?
Yeah, not waiting for it to be cool, not waiting for it to be well paid. Just clearly a man who loves football and saw the opportunity to be part of a growth. So we started at Millwall Lionesses, which I think is now a breakaway of that is London City Lionesses.
Yeah, you told me that earlier and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And you were like, I'm pretty sure you told me that. And then I still couldn't remember that I had told you that or not. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure that you told me that. But then from then you went to Chelsea Ladies, which I think is obviously now Chelsea Women's Football Club, Liverpool, Boston Breakers over in America, West Ham, Bristol City for, I think I was an interim manager there, Liverpool and Burnley where he last was. So loads of places. But he's actually had such massive achievements in all of those. So at Chelsea, he took them to the 2012 FA Cup final and a third place league finish. At Liverpool, he was manager of the year in 2013 and 2014 and won them that WSL title, which I think is the last time that they won it as well. At West Ham in 2019, he took them to the FA Cup final at Wembley. May 2021, he was back at Liverpool, and that's where he was for a significant period of time. And he got them promoted again, so they'd gone down to the Championship, and he was the manager who got them back.
He got them back up. Oh, amazing.
And he gave them that midway finish as well. They finished somewhere in the middle of the league.
Which, is hard to do for being, we're seeing it with London. I know that we talk about them not gelling, and we'll talk about that more later. But, we can see what happens when a team comes up from the Championship. It's not easy, because you're slotting into a group of teams who play each other consistently, especially the top sort of 6 teams, that top half of the table. So to finish midway up the table is pretty impressive just coming back from the Championship.
Yeah. And I think the reason that he can do it is because, as we've heard, he makes players feel like they can do things. So doing great things not only for women's football, but for players as individuals too. So he believed in the players. And what we're seeing in all these stories is that he gave them the confidence to believe in themselves as well. We've seen Cara Williams. We've seen it from Emma Hayes from a manager perspective. Well, I think she took over from him after he left Chelsea.
Yeah, she did, Chelsea.
Look at the foundation that he clearly gave her with that team.
Yeah, he's left it and reading those tributes to him on Instagram, on social media, you could see just how much he affected. I mean, like if you watched the coverage at the weekend, Farrah Williams, like she was really torn up speaking about him. We've seen the captions, people posting about, I think it was Missy Bo Kearns, like wrote a really lovely tribute to him. Like clearly everyone that he's worked with, he has affected in some way and championed. Actually, Alicia Lehman wrote a really, really nice piece on her story about how when she came over to play in the league, he was like the person who championed her and like gave her hope and told her like, you can do this. Like she was just up and coming, and he really like helped inspire her. So from all corners of the community, like you said, managers, players, like the people who've worked with him closely as a team within organizations, like clearly all going to be affected by this.
He's obviously left a massive impact, and he's done it over every part of his career, like I said, for every person he seems to have come across. And I think what's been left behind is a legacy of love, of caring, of compassion, belief. And I think maybe what we wanted to just finish this bit on is that there's also maybe a lesson. And that's to just always ask people if they're okay. We have no idea what's going on for other people. And even the brightest stars can be not as shining on the inside. And I think, like Kev's put here, ask twice, ask 3 times. If you don't, even if you think you're sure, just get people to talk.
Yeah.
And Wells also, he's in man, it seems.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, not just about asking, but also just like be kind. Like you've no idea what somebody's going through. You've no idea what's going on behind closed doors. All we saw was a snapshot of a man.
Yeah.
Like we read about his legacy and we read all of these kind words that people are saying, and he's gone. We don't know what was happening behind closed doors. We don't know how difficult that, leaving Liverpool was, and then Burnley. Sometimes we can't see what's going on through how somebody's acting. So just be kind.
This is the thing. I said it in the video that I posted about this. We always say be kind after something like this happens, and I just think we always say be kind far too late. Like that shouldn't be trending after someone's gone. We should be able to realize so much earlier that our words, our actions have a receiver on the other end, and whether it can come in 2 forms. It can be not talking to someone about how they are, and it can also be over punishing someone for something that's happened, or just not having any care with your words. Like we can see it with what happened with Mary Earps and Millie Bright over the summer. And even now it keeps happening. Like they can't post something without it appearing. And I just think we're at that point where there is a difference between critique and abuse.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the issue with social media, right? Because, and we talk about, like I talk about this in school, and like this is not a new message. We've all heard this before, so I'm not going to like act like I'm saying anything brand new here. But I think that social media has allowed us to forget that there's a person on the other side. And like when we're talking about players, and don't get me wrong, there's a difference between critiquing, like you said. There's also a difference between like having a bit of banter. Like we see players like Rusha Littlejohn, like she gives as good as she can take. That's not to say that everybody can do that. That's like, there's like an art to that. Like people build that up. But there is a line, and so often you see it cross where people are just spamming abuse at players.
Yeah.
And it gets to be too much. I mean, like this is sadly not the first and last time that we've seen somebody within the game, unfortunately, take their own life because of things happening within institutions, outside of institutions. It was the anniversary of Maddie Cusack's death on Saturday as well.
Shocking that it was
27 years old.
So.
Yeah.
And I think whether they've got the biggest smile or not, we need to just take more care of all those around us. And I know this was heavy. I don't know how we talked about the rest of the week without touching on one of the things. So
This is an important thing to talk about. So make a cup of tea, call your best mate, tell your loved ones that you love them, and talk to each other. We've got an announcement. So let's just kick it off with the announcement. So not only are we live on a Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on TikTok, All the Queer Some Idea, but we're also now on Spotify. So if you miss Tuesday night and you want to hear our dulcet tones, you can now search All the Queer Some Idea on Spotify. You will find us. The first 2 episodes are up for those who want to listen. But that also means, hello, anybody new here who's joined us.
your hair on Spotify. Welcome.
Welcome. But so new listeners on Spotify, just to recap what we do here. So we're on season 3, episode 3.
Yeah.
4 or 3?
No, 3. Week 3, episode 3.
3. So we're on episode 3. For those who are listening, I'm holding up 3 fingers. I'm not going to do that every time, as in describe what I'm doing. But for example, last week we talked about a segue. You did a little segue action, and I noticed that it was very funny in the moment. But on the audio, I was like, I'm imagining you doing it.
Not just
So occasionally, if you join us on the live on a Tuesday night, you will be able to interact in the comment section, and we love the interaction. So if you're listening on Spotify and suddenly we say like, "Oh yeah, Kev's just said," shout out Kev, then we're referring to the comments and not a random like manifestation of either of our brains.
I don't know. There's someone up there. I don't know what they're called, but maybe
I think there's multiple people up there, perhaps.
Kev, the football guy. Yeah, but also if you listen to Spotify and you ever want to join, come to TikTok Live and you've got opinions. The comments is the perfect time.
You can come and share them.
Because we are also easily swayed.
You're very easily swayed, very easily knocked off topic. Yeah, we're also still on YouTube, so you can catch like video.
So to there as well.
Yeah. And I think that's about it. Oh, we're Katie and Ali. We're queer. We have some idea, hence the name.
But you don't have to be queer or have a certain level to be here.
You don't have to have any idea. You don't have to be queer. You can be queer. You can actually have more of an idea than us. That would be great, actually.
That's practical, actually.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Because multiple times we will go, does anybody in the comments know the answer to that question? And more often than not, people in the comments come to our rescue. So
that's what we need. And on that list, we could insert here the theme tune.
Well, go on, sing it.
Move to hot off the pitch.
Yes, let's move to hot off the pitch. So slightly different order of things this week, but going on now to talk about all the things that happened, WSL, and then any other little sort of tidbits that happened through the week, including this very special event that happened just last night. My kids in school were very excited to distract me from lesson by talking about who should win the Ballon d'Or. So we'll come on to that in a minute. So, as mentioned, or I don't know if we mentioned it, but it goes without saying that Aston Villa and Liverpool's game was postponed, so that'll be rescheduled to another time in the calendar. So obviously the table will be somewhat affected by the fact that they've only played 2 games, but we'll not dwell on it until it actually changes things.
The table at the moment.
Top of the table at the moment is currently Chelsea. No.
Straight away. It didn't take them long.
Now, Chelsea played Leicester. And I've got an impressive stat for you here.
Hit me. I love stats.
In the previous 8 times that Chelsea have played Leicester, they've scored 38 goals. So with that in mind, that's at averaging 4 goals a game.
That's disgusting.
Now, with that in mind, Did we expect the goal line to be a little higher?
What was the final score? Was it like 1-0?
It was 1-0.
That's
Aggie Beaver Jones in the 7th minute.
That's almost a win for Leicester.
Do you know what? Holding off Chelsea for that long?
Yeah.
I would say that is a bit of a win for Leicester. I mean, it's obviously not a win for Leicester. It was a loss.
Yeah.
But for Chelsea to only win by 1 goal, I think they'll have been frustrated. I think Sonia Bonpastor actually in her interview said that, of course they won the game, but I think they're going to be frustrated that they couldn't do more with that game.
Especially considering at the moment, I know we're very early days, we're 3 weeks into the league, but everything is split until that game on goal difference. Literally, Man United were the top because of goals. Like we had some heavy goal games.
We did.
Chelsea need to make that difference up, and they've really missed an opportunity there. That's
so hats off to Leicester. And again in the 47th minute, they fans applauded and chanted Matt Beard's name as well. So Chelsea, Leicester, not too exciting. I'll tell you what was also not exciting at all.
Is it?
Okay, so on Sunday, I ran this half marathon and I was like, oh, I want to get home in time to watch the Man United Arsenal, top of the table sort of duel.
The showdown.
Girl, I might as well. In fact, do you know what? I spent most of the time playing that silly game on my phone.
No.
Because I was like watching it. Basically nothing happened. Olivia Smith had a chance on goal. It was just boring, to be quite honest.
To when we went to the Emirates to watch Arsenal Everton last season, and I just felt like I lost 2 hours of my life.
I think so. Yeah,
it was just like, why am I here?
I think that it's. I don't know. I think because we've seen good things from Man United in the opening 2 games of the season, and it's been exciting, and they've scored lots of goals. Although Katie Reid starting and sort of her defending, I have to say, was one of the highlights of the game.
Yeah,
but highlight is a.
Has she started every game so far this season?
I think she has.
At least started 2 out of 3. I might be missing the one, but she's at least played all 3, I think. And that is mad. Yeah, she has. And I thought about this. So I prepared a little something for you. This is my because you know what I thought? Age 19, she is now on the senior team of one of the top. Well, it's definitely one of the top teams in the league. She's playing for the champions of Europe.
Yeah, only in the land.
The only in the land.
Not even Chelsea.
Not even Chelsea. So, and I thought, you know what? When I was 19, I was also doing great things.
Hit me.
So, write in your list. Things I'd achieved by the time I turned 19 compared to Katie Reid, who was casually starting for Arsenal like it was no big deal. Number 1, I spent 2 years as a glass collector at a local bar. So Katie Reid may have been dipping her toe in with the senior team, but I was sweeping away the glasses of the punters of Cleethorpes. Which is significant.
No easy task.
So whilst Katie Reid has a nutritionist probably at Arsenal because she's training to be one of the best footballers in the world, I, by 16, had started my second job at McDonald's, and I was getting a free burger every shift.
Was it good though? Because when you work a place, sometimes it shifts your perception of the place. So was the burger good, or was it I work here, so now everything's burger?
I prayed that I would stop liking McDonald's, that I wouldn't enjoy it at every lunch break, but I just was desperate every time. Even when I did a double shift and I got 2 meals, when I was working a 12-hour shift at McDonald's and they were like, you can have anything off the menu for your second because you're doing a long shift. I was ecstatic. It never got dull. I actually did an About Me thing at work, and I made everyone do a quiz on me. And one of the questions was, I worked for 2 years at McDonald's. I got a free burger every shift. I worked 2 days a week, and on some holidays I worked about 4 or 5 days a week. How many burgers did I have in that 2-year stint? I think I calculated it to be something like 456.
That's a lot of burgers.
A lot of burgers.
No judgment, but that is a lot of burgers.
A lot of burgers. And I got an employee discount card, which was great. Anyway.
But no, beat that, Katie Reid.
Eat that. Started a biomedical science degree at 19.
Nice.
Yeah. Thought, I can't be an elite athlete, but maybe I can study them at the cellular level. Had a babysitting job at 12 years old.
I'm glad you finished that because all I heard was had a baby. And I was like,
did I not mention it? I was straight for a while. There's problems.
had a baby. Sitting job
At 12, which I thought I was incredibly responsible for, and I thought that was pretty significant. But why were those parents letting me babysit their children at 12? They would leave. And go out. And
You were just a responsible 12-year-old.
No, so I think that they had no concept of what was okay.
Oh, yeah. Think of American sitcoms. They're leaving their children with people all the time.
They paid me a fortune at that time. I was 12 and they would give me 30 sterling pounds
That's not bad.
a day to look after their children. Imagine that at 12, £30. And
That's a lot of money for a 12-year-old.
that's like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think they got confused between the what's it called when you transfer the money from one currency to another?
Oh, the conversion
rate from dollars to pounds. I think they thought they were giving me $30, which at the time was literally like half. It was the real money, and it was great. That's it really. Don't really have much. Where Katie Reid was making strikes is marking strikers at the Emirates. I was marking the line between part-time jobs and questionable life choices.
Like having babies.
Like babies. I didn't have babies.
Just a disclaimer, Ali does not have a baby. We do not have like a child running around. Apart from Albus.
No, but yeah, so I just can't believe she's 19. I thought the same with Michelle Jaman. 19!
I know. And actually, apparently, she's only turning 19 this week. She's not even 19 yet.
Oh, for God's sake.
So,
scratch off some of the things off the list.
Could you drive by 19?
I passed at 19.
Okay.
But I failed 2 tests at 18.
Oh, I only failed once.
All right, yeah, but you were 25. You have plenty of time to get better.
All right.
Can I play any instruments? I can play the violin. Don't know why that's relevant, but I had that. So
yeah, you can play the violin as well.
Finally choosing something.
Oh, wait, Robin's saying, can you play 4 instruments, Ali?
What does she play 4? Oh, she has everything.
Michelle Adjaman plays 4.
Oh, that's fine. I imagine she was amazing at everything. I already
well done to Katie Reid. She's off to a great start.
Yeah, but apparently she was the best thing about that Arsenal game at the weekend.
She was. Her defending was pretty much the only thing worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Elsewhere, we had Everton and London City Lionesses with their first win of the season.
I'm kind of happy for them.
Now, they conceded 9 goals in their first 2 matches, so they were sort of due a win. Otherwise, we were starting to get worried, girl. But their 2 goals...
such a horrible way to do it. You were like, they had a win, but remember, you failed to add this much to 9 goals. You had a win, don't let it get to you.
Yeah, don't let it get to your head, LCL, because also, forget them 16 signings you did over the summer. Who scored the brace?
Was it an original player?
It was an OG. It was Isabel Goodwin. She scored a brace. She was the top scorer for LCL last season. I want to say 36 goals.
Was she the top scorer for the championship, the WSL 2?
Potentially. Potentially. Somebody fact check me. So they've had their first win. We're okay with that. Everton, they scored off of a penalty, so they can, London City conceded a penalty to them. Everton, good start to Golden Boot. Everton made a good start, beating Liverpool in the opening week, but they've sort of failed to gain momentum. So we'll see what happens with Everton.
I had really high hopes for Everton at the start of the season.
Yeah.
I was backing them to be like a surprise 6th.
Yeah, I think in our prediction video, you talked about.
You know what? One don't you beat? I'm just actually can't remember what they did last week.
Can't remember.
I remember.
Spurs. Oh, actually, do you know what? I can literally just flick back and tell you that they lost 2-0 to Spurs. So, segue. Beep, 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 beep. I'm doing a segue motion for the listeners. Spurs had their first defeat of the season to none other than Man City. They struggled defensively. Man City were sort of all over them in terms of attack, obviously. Grace Clinton, debut.
She scored, no?
She only went and scored and an assist.
You know what? She's great.
She is great. And she had a cheeky little look on her face while she did it. I saw the photo. But because I always have to have a high and a low, Hempo.
Yeah. Injured. What was it? What I saw that she went
Ankle.
off limping, yeah.
Her ankle. So she's
been
just
that
been
long.
injured. So like, come on.
Off most of the season now.
I know, bloody hell. But they also scored 3 goals in 20 minutes, Man City. So they were goal machines, 5-1. They scored 5 goals. Miedema and Kirsten Kasperai on the score sheet as well.
Was there any fun ones from Bunny Shaw? Any more like Dolphin Superman style?
Do you know what? I haven't actually watched
Might see
the highlights of the goals yet, but I'll have to go back and do that. Next on the match report. So hang on, we've covered Everton, LCL, we've covered Spurs, Man City, we've covered Chelsea, Leicester, we've covered Arsenal, Man U. So last but certainly not least, although according to the BBC, they were quite rude about West Ham, I'm not gonna lie. Brighton beat West Ham 4-1.
Oh.
Now, the Seagulls been pretty dominant in that game. They had some great attacking. I'll say that.
They suggest that.
Yeah. So we saw an Adjumang assist in that game. West Ham, despite scoring a goal, the BBC described them. Oh, and Rosa Kafaji, she scored a goal as well. They were West Ham were described as, and I quote, bottom and pointless.
Bottom
And pointless.
Very interesting choice of words.
Very interesting choice of words. Now, one might assume that they're talking about the bottom of the table, but it just sounded really sad. It literally just said bottom and pointless, and I just thought, that's so sad for West Ham, or as you like to call them, Aston Villa.
Oh, God, I have to it right.
So that leaves us with Chelsea at the top of the table, Man United and Arsenal coming in third. And Mallard is still the top scorer with 4 goals. So things haven't been terribly shaken up this week. But we're only in the 3rd week. We've still got plenty of weeks to go. So we'll see what happens next week, girl. That's it for league news this week.
Okay, is that us?
That's us now. We will see you guys next Tuesday.
Guys, next week.
Bye.
Outro.